Many of you may have just saw uh, a video I did on how to identify a fake martial arts master. That's sort of a broad perspective of fake martial arts masters. Now, this is sort of piggybacking on that same video. I want you to pay close attention, just in case you think that you are in the loop as far as masters who have contributed to the popularity of martial arts in the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, specifically. I want to give you a little brief rundown of the great men that are the foundation of martial arts in this city as it relates to martial arts. Now, not in any particular order, but I'm going to try to highlight certain individuals within this list as to their relevance, and students under them who became masters and grandmasters. Now, before I begin, let me say this. It is not my intention to leave anyone out. All of this came out of my mind just in a matter of minutes, just a few minutes, because that's how well vested I am in this thing called martial arts. So I'm going to give you a list in the city of Cincinnati who the core people are that made martial arts in this city, both from a traditional standpoint to a broader perspective and or view of martial arts. Eclectic like myself. So this is the foundation in Cincinnati. If I miss your name, I apologize. But if you're affiliated with anyone on this list, to include myself, I apologize. I'm still talking about you and your teacher. So here are the ones in the city, from Korean to Okinawan to Japanese to eclectic. I had to write this down. And I'm going to tell you, from the 60s to the 70s and the early 80s, these are the people that made martial arts what it is in Cincinnati. Grandmaster Woodrow Fairbanks, a pillar. Shuri Ryu, Tai Chi, Wuxing. He's been here longer than most people on this list. Grandmaster Kwan Wan An, Korean Taekwondo and Tong Soo Do. My great grandmaster, one of my masters, who since moved to Georgia and retired up in his 80s. Grandmaster, I may become a little sensitive to, let me let you know this. These are people who I know intimately and close to. Grandmaster John Lee Jelks, Shuri Ryu, God rest his soul. A pillar of martial arts in this city. William Scott Sr., God rest his soul. Tong Soo Do, military veteran. A pillar in this city. Grandmaster Howard Vaughn, one of my teachers of Tong Soo Do, Taekwondo, and boxing, kickboxing. Master Jerry Hill, my judo teacher, God rest his soul. He just passed a year ago. Even though he did not, this gentleman I'm about to mention, did not pursue martial arts into the master ranks, well deserving of it, post his death, God rest his soul, Jerry Dubose. He was a pillar in martial arts in this city. Walter Fagan, Grandmaster George Warden, Tong Soo Do, God rest his soul. One of the major teachers of Grandmaster, and I call him Grandmaster Anthony Price. That was Grandmaster George Wharton, dear friend of mine, God rest his soul again, and Johnny Johnson from the same organization. Grandmaster Charles Emery, Tong Sudo. Grandmaster Kenneth Robinson, Tong Sudo. Grandmaster Joe Thompson, God rest his soul. And the man who got me started in my first commercial martial arts school after my first few years in martial arts under my uncle and friend, that's Grandmaster Victor Moore. Master Chester Richardson, also Master Zedekiah Yisrael, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. God rest his soul. He just passed not too long ago as well. Pillar in this martial arts city. Master Eugene Fields, judo teacher. As a little boy, I watched this man in Fleshman Boys Club, and then he moved to the firehouse to teach judo, and he passed away several years ago. Master Eugene Fields, judo teacher. Michael Awad, Grandmaster I.K. Kim or Il Kwan Kim, Grandmaster Hong Kong Kim, Korean, Taekwondo, both of them, and Grandmaster Anthony Price, Grandmaster Edward Brown, dear friend of mine for many, many years, Grandmaster Llewellyn Rogers, or Lou Rogers, Tong Sudo, Grandmaster Michael Posey, Grandmaster Nate and Martez Miller, one of my Tong Sudo instructors, Master Tom Henniger. My Tong Sudo and Taekwondo teacher also was Rick Stewart. Master Orion Blanchard, we used to call him Oreo, Tong Sudo. Freddie Lockett, Tong Sudo. Master Joe Gibson, very dear friend we grew up with training, Tong Sudo. Jesse Walker, Ting Shin Pai, Kung Fu. Kenneth and Martin Ware, Ting Shin Pai, Kung Fu. Roland Biggs, Master Roland Biggs, Master Dwight Holly, Shotokan, and Chito, I believe. Those gentlemen there. Now these other three gentlemen that I'm going to mention, outside of myself, I'll start with me, Grandmaster Reginald Strauss Sr., many disciplines, Korean, Chinese, and Japanese arts, Jiu-Jitsu, Wing Chun, Kung Fu, Tong Sudo, Taekwondo, boxing, and so forth. Zoe Kwan. These gentlemen that I'm about to mention are well deserving of their position here as influencing in this city because of their contribution, even though they're not specifically from here. That's Grandmaster James Cook, Shaolin Kung Fu, and other martial arts systems. James Cook. Used to call him Cookie Man or the Cookie Man. James Cook. He's in Tennessee. And the other two gentlemen are Grandmaster Don Madden in Chillicothe, Ohio, and Dr. Jim Thomas. I would be remiss if I left him out. So many of us have competed in tournaments under Dr. Jim Thomas for many, many years. He's gone on to bigger and greater things, doing movies or films, and also promoting Hall of Fames for many, many years since the 70s. My hat goes off to him, kudos, because he has a spirit that is iron. He has continued martial arts and have never ceased. And many of us that's on this list have attended, participated in, and supported his tournaments over the years for the past 30, 40 years. And Master Ed Brown, Grandmaster Ed Brown, is one of those. along with myself and Dr. Jim Thomas and Dr. Don Madden and James Cook, even though they're not residents of this city currently, they have contributed. Now, again, if I left anyone out, understand this, comprehend this. It was not intentional. Most of the people that may not be on this list, they came up under many of the teachers that's on this list that I just read to you, to include myself. But if you started martial arts and was teaching martial arts in the 60s and the 70s, you are the foundation of Cincinnati. These people, myself included, are the foundation of the martial arts masters and grandmasters in this city. Nobody else. If you came in the 90s, if you came in the mid to late 80s, not talking about you. You're not the foundation. The people who I just mentioned on this list are the foundation as far as masters and grandmasters in this city. Just so we make it plain. That's it. And really, that's all. So, if you came, you only been in martial arts for 10 years, 20 years, 25, maybe even 30 years, and you're here in the city of Cincinnati, you don't fall under this particular category of masters and grandmasters, even though you may have been promoted since that time. But we, the people on this list that I just read, we are the foundation of this city. That was all I had to say. And I just want to congratulate all of those that are still with us, that's on the list, and they still keep plugging away, still keep pushing and supporting our arts, our respective arts. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. This is Brother Teacher. That was all I had to say. So long.